You're with the Breaker-Leggers, and we are back on London's South Bank at the National Theatre
to see the play Barber Shop Chronicles.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs,
whether it's break a leg
or leg it. Before you lovely people go any further,
to make sure you've always got your finger on the theatrical pulse.
For theatre news, reviews and interviews,
hit subscribe now.
So, the Barber Shop Chronicles.
Just Barber Shop Chronicles.
Just Barber Shop, no the. Barber Shop Chronicles. What do we know about this piece?
Well, it's a pretty new play, and the reason I say pretty new is actually the show has mounted productions here at the National in a previous season and at the West Yorkshire Playhouse before coming back to the National because it was such a sold-out success in the first place.
Yeah, so it's already been here and it's back again, plus it's going out on a UK tour and then it's going all the way to the other side of the world to Australia.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, it sounds good so far, doesn't it?
So it's promising.
Absolutely promising. The play is directed by Inua Ellams. And directed by Bijan Shibani.
Okay.
Bijan has also directed at the National before now, productions including A Taste of Honey and The Kitchen.
Okay, now this has an actor that we've seen here before at the National. His name is Cyril Nuri.
Yes, and you may know him from Cucumber, the Channel 4 Russell T Davies kind of comedy drama. But we saw him here in Our Country's Good, which wasn't good.
Which wasn't,
ironically.
Oh, interesting interesting drama piece, but the production
not good. But Cyril was good.
Yes, this piece is 1 hour and 45 minutes straight through.
Yeah, so no interval. And it tells the story of it's like a black culture piece about black men throughout the years culturally meeting in barbershops to discuss topics, tell stories right around the world.
Interesting. Well, we'll let you know what we think when we see you at the end. So we've come to the end of Barber Shop Chronicles here at the Dorfman space at the National Theatre. How did you find that?
I enjoyed it. I found it educational. I mean, I think I love these pieces that give you an insight into a culture that you know nothing about. And I know nothing about African men's culture and interests and, you know, experiences. And I feel I've come away from this with a newfound, you know, definitely a respect, but a certain understanding about those people that live in those communities in different parts of the world. What about you?
Yeah, I think it was a really nice cultural snapshot kind of through the course of it's like one day, isn't it? 6 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night across many different locations. But each of the scenes, we kind of follow some of the characters through multiple scenes, but they're all interlinked, which is just really nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the joy in the writing of this, is the thread, is the fact that between continents and between time zones, you have these links to, it's just so well crafted, the characters that are connected with, you know, the different timelines and stories and places and people and being. You know, it can, that sort of idea can feel jumbled, but this was just really subtle yet really beautifully crafted.
Yeah, it touches on some really nice themes such as racism and how racism is interpreted, plus in different locations, how it means something different, wealth as well, class theme, families, a lot of things in there about fathers, about standing up to the father, and also
patriarch.
A kind of punishment of how do you bring up children as well, through the generations, how that has changed, and the effect that that's had on people, alcoholism in a way as well.
And that's another thing to mention, that even though there's a cultural points and this is told in a cultural story which is specific to an African culture, that, you know, the themes are universal.
They're transferable.
The themes of family and the themes of friendship and loyalty and honour that we can see in every culture, and I think pieces like this bring unity, and I think that's so important. Theatre can do that.
Yes, and the cast play multiple parts, which is so good. There was such good characterization and changes of characterization. Some of the best, beautiful, rich performances I've seen in terms of characters. I don't know what you thought.
Yeah.
But I think the space, the Dorfman space, it plays to its strengths because it's so intimate. They're not performing to a big, wide house, you know.
No, they're on top of you.
Yeah, they're on top of it and they're owning it, and it's big at the same time. It's very intimate as well.
Yeah, totally impressive. Another thing that I'm thrilled about is the diversity in the audience. It always fills my heart with such joy. There's so many houses around the UK that we go into, and it is just a whitewash with a typical theatre audience. This has drawn in young and old, white, black, Asian, and everything in between, and that is an absolute real pleasure to see for me, and I know for you as well.
I agree. Going theatre, as we go very often to the theatre, and you can almost predict the type of demographic of the audience, and it is great to see a piece that is putting in people of all different cultures. I completely agree with that.
Another thing that I'm so happy about is the fact that this is heading out on tour.
Yes.
So it's going to be bringing that cultural experience into, gosh, you know, a little small white suburb somewhere, which is, again, theatre beautiful.
Yeah, and I've got to say that the speech dialect coaches, whoever worked on this, has done a fantastic job. I've got to say, some of the time I didn't understand what was being said, but it was being done with such animation that was true to the culture that it was just visually. So you were just drawn in just to how it was said.
Casting my eye over the programme, that's Hazel Holder that did the dialect work, so fantastic.
Yes, very good, because it's many different places in Africa, South Africa,
The UK
as well,
Zimbabwe, Uganda.
Jamaica, there's a Jamaican character in there as well, and all with their unique characters. And yeah, any particular parts that jumped out to you?
I mean, I like Cyril Neri. I think he's great. Also, just conducting consulting the programme.
The Oracle.
Peter Bancole. I feel like we've seen him in something before. He was really
he in the Congo?
good. No, that was the other guy. Maybe they were both in it. But yeah, we've seen him before, and he is fantastic. I can't pull him out where I know him from, but I definitely know him from something.
I also enjoyed Siri as well. I think he's great. Do you know what? The whole cast was great.
Cyril Neri?
Yeah, there was no weak link.
No.
For me at all in this.
Really well cast.
A really good ensemble piece as well. The transitions between each scene. They had kind of a cappella, almost tribal music at times, some carnival music at times.
Yeah, and Bijan Shibani, the director of this, has taken a script which I suppose on paper could seem quite linear, so it seemed quite, you know, sterile, and put a huge amount of imagination in this to really almost. It's almost a bit musical theatre performance-y at times, almost that kind of. You know, set choreography, big ensemble numbers, yet a serious cultural play as well. Very clever, very accessible.
Very accessible, and that's kind of also what, as a whole piece, it's not dull then. Making something of those transitions does just make the whole piece sparkle. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Well, I bet you're wondering how many legs we're going to give the piece.
So, for Barber Shop Chronicles here at the Dorfman space at the National Theatre, then going out on UK tour, and then going to Australia. So who knows?
and beyond.
Maybe who knows where else it's going. We are going to give 4! Yes, a well-deserved 4. A really enjoyable cultural piece, very subtle in its themes in a way, but at the same time, very animated characters and text to play with.
I would say enjoyable, educational and enlightening is how I would sum up this piece, and certainly something to come and see to open your eyes on a world that you may not know anything about. Theatre at its best.
Yeah, it was funny and it was touching and thoroughly engaging.
Yes, well that's what we thought.
please tell us what you thought.
Yeah, leave us a comment, maybe send us something on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. We're the Breaker Leggers,
and we'll catch you again soon. Bye.